You have to at least have an above-average quarterback to compete for Super Bowls.
Let's go to Detroit now, where Jared Goff got a 4-year, $212 million contract extension. Can the Lions win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff?
With every club's NFL quarterback depth chart mostly set in place, I think it's a good time to dive into our rankings of all 32 QB situations, going from worst to first. Number 32, Denver Broncos. Look, argue all you want if Oregon QB Bo Nix was a reach at number 12, but the Broncos couldn't go with Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson headlining their QB depth chart. We like Nix's potential, but even if he starts, he's going to struggle as a rookie behind that offensive line and lackluster set of weapons. Number 31, New York Giants. We remain a bit surprised the Giants didn't draft a quarterback in round 1, but hey, taking Malik Neighbors and then secretly tanking for a QB in 2025 is not the worst alternative either. With a 22-36-1 record, 46 fumbles, and 40 interceptions, Daniel Jones has repeatedly shown that he is not a starting caliber quarterback. Neither is backup Drew Lock. Now, Tommy DeVito was a pretty fun story for a bit last year, but yeah, he is not a starter. Number 30, Carolina Panthers. No more excuses for Bryce Young, who has a new head coach and a revamped supporting cast. Free agent signings Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis bolster the interior O-line. New offensive weapons Deontay Johnson, Xavier Legette, Jonathan Brooke, and Jatavian Sanders put Young in a very good situation to improve considerably. As far as backups go, Andy Dalton is just fine as a number 2. Number 29, Las Vegas Raiders. We like the Raiders offseason, except for their interesting quarterback decisions. Cutting Jimmy Garoppolo was necessary, but do they really think a quarterback room of Aiden O'Connell or veteran Gardner Minshew II will get the job done? O'Connell is meh as a rookie, and Minshew is just a high-end backup, not a starter. Number 28, New England Patriots. The Pats selected North Carolina QB Drake May with the number 3 selection, but don't be surprised if veteran journeyman Jacoby Brissett opens 2024 as the starter. New England cannot rush May as they enter year 1 of a full-scale rebuild under rookie head coach Jared Mayo. With a mediocre O-line and football's worst set of skill position guys on offense, Brissett and/or Mayo will find it difficult to get much going here in 2024. Number 27, Washington Commanders. This isn't a knock against Jaden Daniels. We believe the LSU product will eventually flourish in Washington and give this team the long-term guy at QB that they've lacked for 3 decades now. But patience and low expectations are always necessary for a rookie QB on a rebuilding team. Behind Daniels on the depth chart stand Marcus Mariota and Jeff Driscoll. Yeah, not the best insurance options. Number 26, Minnesota Vikings. Make no mistake, the Vikings did the right thing by letting Kirk Cousins walk and drafting a promising prospect in Michigan's J.J. McCarthy with the number 10 selection. If McCarthy isn't ready, well, heck, Minnie signed Sam Darnold to be a bridge QB if necessary. But ideally, McCarthy wins the starting job and makes the most of the elite supporting cast around him. J.J. and Justin Jefferson just has a nice ring to it. Number 25, Tennessee Titans. Will Levis had a solid rookie year on a rebuilding Titans team, and he stands to improve with Calvin Ridley and Tyler Boyd joining forces with DeAndre Hopkins at wide receiver. Levis is also in good hands with rookie head coach Brian Callahan, who played a big role in grooming Joe Burrow for the pros. That said, Mason Rudolph and 2022 third-round pick Malik Willis don't inspire a lot of confidence as backups. So, the Titans need Levis to be good if this team is to make any meaningful progress here in 2024. Number 24, Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are tough to rank. If Anthony Richardson stays healthy and continues to flash the way that he did in his small sample size rookie season, well, the Colts could emerge as a playoff team in 2024. But if Richardson gets hurt, we suppose 2023 comeback player of the year Joe Flacco is a fine insurance option. Number 23, New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr is an average quarterback at best. He'll push for 4,000 yards and 25 TDs a season and mostly protect the football, but he is not a top 10 guy. So it's only fitting that a middling QB is starting for a middling New Orleans team. Taysom Hill may be listed as a QB, but he's more of a running back. Number 22, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield turned a career year into a $100 million extension over 3 years. The Bucs' offensive personnel is hardly different from the 2023 group, so Mayfield has all the resources to prove last year was not a fluke. 2021 second-round pick Kyle Trask and veteran John Wolford are currently the backups behind Baker. But let's be perfectly blunt. The Bucs are in trouble if Trask or Wolford have to play meaningful snaps in 2024. Number 21, Arizona Cardinals. Arizona's offense should vastly improve with generational receiver prospect Marvin Harrison Jr. joining the party, but Desmond Ridder and Clayton Tune aren't exactly exciting backup options if the injury-prone Murray goes down again. And the number 1 pick of 2019 has been maddeningly inconsistent throughout his career so far. So it's very tough to place Murray's Cardinals in the top 20 here. Number 20, Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith has been a feel-good story over these last 2 years, leading Seattle to consecutive winning seasons after replacing franchise icon Russell Wilson behind center. But don't be mistaken, Smith is not elite. And backup Sam Howell must cut back on the turnover woes if he's to emerge as a starter in this league. Number 19, Chicago Bears. Of course, we would love to put Caleb Williams and the Bears higher on this list, but we need to see how the rookie transitions over to the NFL level. Plus, we aren't really high on Tyson Bagent, Brett Rypien, and Austin Reed as the other QBs on the depth chart. Number 18, Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are hard to rank here. They have 2 starters in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, but we also don't know how much Wilson has left in him, or if Fields just needed a change of scenery, or if he's destined to be a bust. Our guess is that Wilson has a solid bounce-back year with Mike Tomlin leading the way, but it's another case of believing it when we actually see it. Number 17, Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence has looked like an MVP caliber QB for 2 stretches, the second half of 2022 and the first half of 2023. Is this the year the number 1 pick of 2021 finally discovers consistency and puts it all together? Mac Jones had an ugly final year in New England, but he and CJ Beathard are 2 solid backup options behind T-Law. Learning behind defensive guru Doug Peterson for a year can only benefit Jones in his contract year. Number 16, Cleveland Browns. $230 million man Deshaun Watson still hasn't put it together since joining the Browns. The good news is that Jacoby Brissett and Joe Flacco proved that backup QBs can definitely find success in Kevin Stefanski's offense. With Jameis Winston, Tyler Huntley, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson rounding out the depth chart, the Browns have 3 other short-term guys if Watson gets injured again, which he probably will. Number 15, Los Angeles Rams. Matthew Stafford showed that he has plenty of gas left in the tank, guiding the Rams back to the postseason with a superb second-half finish. Jimmy Garoppolo shouldn't be a starter anymore, but his experience makes him one of the better backups in the league, and we're still very curious to see what Stetson Bennett could do if Sean McVay actually ends up giving him a look. Number 14, Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons hope that $180 million man Kirk Cousins can be their solution at quarterback. To us, it's hard to envision him not succeeding in an offense with Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, and Drake London. Cousins' arrival makes Atlanta the team to beat in the NFC South. And hey, maybe that Michael Penix Jr. guy will get some reps. And of course, Taylor Heineke is as good as a third stringer as you'll find. Number 13, Miami Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa is still a polarizing QB, but his MVP caliber stats cannot be ignored, even if he is a product of Mike McDaniel's system that boasts the league's best receiving tandem in Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Mike White is a fine backup to Tua, and third stringer Skylar Thompson nearly upset Josh Allen in the wildcard round 2 seasons ago. Number 12, Green Bay Packers. In year 1 as a starter, Jordan Love threw for 4,159 yards and 32 touchdowns. He led the Packers to a blowout win over the Dallas Cowboys on wildcard weekend before they narrowly fell to the top-seeded 49ers in the divisional round. We can't wait to see what Love does for an encore, especially if number 1 receiver Christian Watson can actually stay healthy. Sean Clifford isn't a secure number 2 option, but Love's rise to superstardom is enough to put the Pack in the 12th spot here. Number 11, Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert has been a top 10 QB since his record-breaking 2020 rookie year. But how will he fare without Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Austin Eckler? We want to see that first. Easton Stick as your number 2 guy is a bit head-scratching, and Max Duggan has yet to attempt an NFL pass. Number 10, Detroit Lions. Remember when Goff was supposed to be a throw-in as a part of the Matthew Stafford trade? What an incredible story. As Goff instead took his game to another level with Dan Campbell after being discarded by the Rams. So as we saw last year, the Lions are a championship contender with Goff, who just might make his case as a top 5 QB this year. 2023 third-round pick Hendon Hooker hasn't seen any snaps yet, but maybe we'll get a glimpse in garbage time if the Lions continue to crush their weaker opponents. Number 9, San Francisco 49ers. Is Brock Purdy a top 10 QB in football? I mean, that's up for debate. but any QB who plays in the Kyle Shanahan offense is in good hands. New second stringer Josh Dobbs proved himself as a steady backup option in 2023, which was split with Arizona and Minnie. Number 8, Houston Texans. Don't be surprised if CJ Stroud contends for the MVP honors again this year, or if he cements himself as a top 5 QB in the game as a sophomore. Davis Mills showed some promise in 2021, so he is definitely a solid backup plan behind Stroud. Ditto for journeyman Case Keenum, who has 66 starts under his belt. Number 7, Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott's consistent regular season success is obviously the main reason Dallas lands this high. But they also have a top backup option in Cooper Rush, who's gone 5-1 as Dak's understudy in Big D. We still don't know what Trey Lance might become in the NFL, but having a recent 3rd overall pick as your 3rd stringer is a pretty fun luxury. Number 6, New York Jets. Assuming Aaron Rodgers is back to full health in Week 1, the Jets have themselves a top 10 quarterback. The Jets were undone last year by a lack of an adequate backup plan behind Rodgers. Well, that's not a problem now that they have one of the league's best second stringers in Tyrod Taylor, and a fascinating rookie in Jordan Travis. Number 5, Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts' many haters like to think that he's the product of a star-studded Eagles offensive system. Superstar, game manager, above average. Look, no matter how you slice it, Hurts does his part and gives Philly one of the best. And though it didn't work out in Pittsburgh, Kenny Pickett is a safe insurance option. I mean, we'd like to think you'd do something with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Saquon Barkley as his main weapons. Number 4, Buffalo Bills. It remains to be seen how Josh Allen will fare without Stephon Diggs, but elite quarterbacks always find a way to produce regardless of who is catching their passes. We're still high on Allen, who may actually benefit from the departure of Diggs, who proved to be a massive headache in the locker room. And if the occasion called for him to start, Trubisky would maybe show his best stuff under a top-notch NFL head coach. Number 3, Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson won his 2nd MVP award in 5 seasons. Not to mention, he led Baltimore to its first AFC title game appearance in 11 years. Josh Johnson and 6th-round pick Devin Leary don't offer a lot of optimism as backup options, but John Harbaugh found ways to keep his Ravens competitive without Jackson in 2021 and 2022. So we're confident that the Ravens wouldn't quite stink if Jackson had to miss time. Number 2, Cincinnati Bengals. Almost a coin flip here between the Bengals, Bills, and Ravens for the number 2 spot, but the Bengals get this spot since they have a top-tier backup option in Jake Browning. A healthy Joe Burrow makes the Bengals Super Bowl contenders, but after Burrow suffered a season-ending wrist injury last year, Browning completed a league-best 70.4% of pass attempts for 12 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Browning won 4 of his 7 starts and had the Bengals in the playoff race without their star QB. Hard to top that QB situation unless you're the number 1 Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, not much to say here. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football right now. As far as insurance goes, something tells us Carson Wentz would do just fine in Andy Reid's offense if Mahomes had to miss time. I mean, Reid got wins out of Matt Moore and Chad Henne when the occasion called for it. But hey, which NFL team do you think has the worst and best quarterback situations heading into 2024? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton, and hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, well, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.